Today we're going to be speaking about a continuous tube feeding versus a bolus tube feeding. How do you know which one to give a patient? So one of the many questions that I had when I was a dietetic intern as well as a new dietitian was, how do I know if to give a patient or client a continuous tube feed or a bolus tube feed? Like, I just could not get it. And then when I would ask the individual training me, I just didn't understand their explanation either. So today I'm going to break it down for you. So a couple weeks ago, I made a video differentiating a bolus tube feed, a continuous tube feed, an intermittent tube feed, and a cyclical tube feed. So if you haven't already watched that video, which is popping up now, I would encourage you to watch it before proceeding with this video because it explains terminology that I really want you to understand. So there are 5 things that immediately come to mind which you need to consider if you're going to decide between a continuous tube feed or a bolus tube feed. So the first one is an increased risk of aspiration. So if a client is at an increased risk for aspiration, you do not want to give them a bolus tube feed. You would want to give them a continuous tube feed instead. The second thing is poor tolerance to tube feedings. So if the client is experiencing any type of emesis or vomiting, you may want to switch to a continuous tube feed. Now I know that there's different reasons for emesis. It could be medication, it could be position, it could be gastrointestinal issues. But I do remember when I was a new dietitian, there was a patient that I had prescribed a bolus tube feed for, and she just could not tolerate it until she was changed over into a continuous tube feed. And those are things that you need to pay attention to. The third thing is available resources. So to be honest with you, this is the real world. Not all facilities have the same available resources, and this can definitely impact if you give a client or patient a bolus tube feed or a continuous tube feed. The next thing, which I think is one of the most important things, is the patient themselves. Is this a patient that is younger, active, working, or is this a patient that is bedridden? So definitely the patient that is more active, you do not want to constrict them with giving them a continuous tube feed. It is very constricting. They're not allowed or not able to move around freely. And the client that may be more bedridden, you may want to give them a continuous tube feed, but that doesn't mean that they can't get a bolus tube feed as well. And then finally, setting. So is this a nursing home or is this a hospital? So when I used to work in the nursing homes, I never put any of my clients on a continuous tube feeding for 24 hours a day. I would put it times 18 hours or times 16 or even 20 hours. And this was to allow them to have therapy or any type of activity if they were on a continuous feed. So really these 5 factors really play a large part in determining, are you going to give a patient a continuous tube feed or a bolus tube feed? So in the comments section below, let me know what you guys think about a continuous versus a bolus tube feed. If there's anything else that popped up in your mind related to when to decide how to give a client which type of tube feed. If there's any questions that you have, if you are a dietetic practitioner and you are watching this, please feel free to share your knowledge in the comments section below. As usual, remember to comment, like, subscribe, as well as share this video. Have a good day.